Hey everybody, how's it going? Bully Scholarship, we here. Welcome back for more Road to the Quest Cape. It's been maybe about a good 2 weeks, 3 weeks or so since I filmed the last episode. I've gotten probably the most done that I've ever gotten done between episodes, at least in that short of time. I've gotten 14 quests done and 1 mini quest and a decent amount of levels, so that's been some good progress. First, let's look at levels. Just a few minor ones. Construction, I got 18. I don't remember what I had before. It was probably 15 or something. But just from Tears of Gothics and, you know, experience lamps and books of knowledge or whatever. I got a couple hunter levels. Fire making, I randomly trained that for like 10 minutes because I was bored or something. I don't know. I do have the logs in the bank to get 70, just because I want to get 70s. That's just a goal of mine, just for skills. I do like skilling, but firemaking is so boring. That was actually my first 99 back in the day on RS3, which was RS 2.5 kind of at the time, you know, when they were kind of transitioning into the HD period. That was my first 99, and I don't know how I did that, because it's not fun. But yeah, I do have that banked, but that won't be for a while, unless I'm really bored. 55 HP, I got that when I was just doing the last quest before I filmed this. 62 crafting, I got that. And I think I might have gotten a few thieving levels, but I'm not even sure. But those are just kind of minor ones. In terms of more major, you know, skills, I've really increased farming. I've gone up from 60 to 70, which has been really good. I like the look of 70 on here, just kind of my OCD-ish thing. I shouldn't say OCD, that's not really the right way to put it, but I do kind of freak out about the numbers on the side here, you know, how they look, and 70 does look really good. Looks a lot better than the 60s, I think. Mining, that was another big one. I spent some quality time in the, it's not the Living Rock Caverns, what do they call it? Motherlode Mine, that's the name of it. Basically the Living Rock Caverns of 07, only there's not giant monsters that try to, you know, like slap you while you're hanging out and mining. Really easy place to train. Just pull up Netflix or heck, read a book or, you know, whatever. You just click on the rock, hang out there, get that taken care of. So that I needed for lunar diplomacy, and I actually got enough experience that when I'm done doing all of the quests that give mining experience, I'll get 61, so I can use the dragon pick if I ever decide to buy one. I don't know if I'm really going to train mining that much more. Maybe I'll go for 70 in that, or 75 even. Or let's see, I guess Addy, is that at 75 or... No, that's just 70, so maybe I'd just go for 70. 85, that would be a stretch. I mean, it'd be cool, but I don't know, that would suck. But I guess, you never know, sky's the limit. So yeah, that was some good quality time spent there. And then I did get a few fletching levels and magic levels. I got up to 75 magic. I think I was at maybe 71 or 70. Yeah, I think 71 since the last episode. So I got a few magic levels, and fletching I got from, I think I was at 77 maybe, or 78 before this, so now I'm up to 82. I did spend some quality time fletching as well. Let's take a quick look at the bank before we go to the quests, actually. This tab, not much has changed. I bought this hat because it looked cool, the deer stalker. I actually just saw a guy with it today. I was like, hey, what hat is that? And he told me, and I bought it because it's like 30k. And some guy dropped them on the Grand Exchange floor, so I picked them up. This tab, not much has changed. Me and my friend completed the Fremen X Trials, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I did buy these 2 helms. I'm pretty sure I bought this already, the Archer helm, but I honestly don't remember. I might have had that already, but now I can actually use it because I did complete that quest. But I bought the Farseer and the Berserker helm because I like those better. And once I get 60 defense, I'm not buying a Dragon Med helm. That looks so newbie. I don't like it. Got my Dragon Chain for that instead. And that with the Berserker I think looks really good. Anything else in this tab? Not really. My cash stack has probably gone up a bit, but I don't remember what it was at in the last video. But I bought a bunch of maple logs at one point, and I've actually fletched all of them, and right now I have 7.2 elks left to do. I was at about 10k at the start, so I've done a few elks here and there. Not piles, though, just every now and then, you know, I'll do a farm run, and then I'll just hang out by the trees or whatever while I'm waiting for them to finish up, or, you know, they're about at that time, so I'll just sit there, or I'll watch an episode of some show on Netflix and elk for a half hour. It's not a huge dedicated thing. I want to get 99 magic at some point. I don't know if I'm still not sure if it's going to happen before or after the quest cape. I'm guessing it'll happen after, because it does get pretty dull once you get into the upper 80s and all of the 90s, you know, when it takes 10k elks, 13k elks, you know, 15k elks for every level. It gets pretty brutal. But, you know, it's not too bad. And with the farming that I've been doing, now that I can do snapdragons, I've been doing these a lot because they're really solid. Good money, and well, the experience, you know, you don't really get that much from herbs. But yeah, I've been doing these and limpworts, and those have been making me good money. So basically, I want to try to build up my cash stack, so then once I get my fletching level high enough where I don't want to train anymore, because I want to get an untrimmed magic cape, and at this rate I'm at, I'm going to be getting more fletching experience than magic experience, and because I'm already ahead. And so I'm just going to fletch probably till 98, or until I just get sick of it, maybe just till 90 even, who knows. I just want to get 99 magic by itself. I do not want fletching, so eventually I want to build up that cash stack so I can just buy the elks at the end, you know, for the last 9 levels or whatever, so I don't have to fletch, you know, 20k bows before I can go and get my 1 level. I can just buy a bunch and just have them there and just take the hit or whatever. I'd rather do that, quite honestly. So we'll see how much fletching I end up doing, and otherwise I'll just use farming to counter that, because it's not a big deal. Farming is easy and it's quick, good money. So definitely train farming, guys. In this tab, honestly, not much has changed other than that. The papayas, I've been doing those as well. That's how I got a lot of those farming levels, was by doing papaya trees, because you get like 6.4, 6.5k for just checking the health, and then you pick the fruit and, you know, you cut it down, dig it out, plant a new one. I think you get close to about 7k experience per tree per run, and that's every 16 hours, I believe. So basically every day. Time can get kind of weird, you know, you forget about it, or it takes longer than you expected. Yesterday I felt like a couple of my trees took longer than I expected. I don't know if they got diseases and the guy had to keep healing them, so then that resets the clock, or I was just going crazy. Who honestly knows? But either way, papayas have been great, and you basically break even with them. This tab, nothing really. I've found a few other food items I'll just use up eventually. Same with this tab, nothing else. I've just been buying glories because I haven't done heroes yet. I really need to do that. That's kind of on my agenda to do next, is heroes, and I want to get 53 thieving for desert treasure, because then I can actually do desert treasure. I think I have all the requirements. So yeah, but the next 2 things on my agenda are going to be the Merlin's Crystal quest, because that's the last quest I need for heroes, and then get 53 thieving, and then I'll be set for desert treasure as well, whenever I decide to do that. I might save that for later, because that's one of my favorite quests, but we'll see. This tab, I've added a few things, as you can see here by my very pro-looking outfit. Oh yeah, zooming is in old school now, which is a really cool thing. Obviously, if you had OS Buddy, it was I think it was in there as well, but it's actually in this, so this works better for recording for me, but, you know, to each his own. Some people like OS Buddy. I do have that, but I've been using just the regular old client now. So it's nice, it's a really nice outfit, as you can tell. I look like a pro of RuneScape, my camel with his neck beard. You get that in the Anakra's Lament quest. Flippers, that's from a mini quest that we'll be talking about in a little bit here. And shorts, I just bound from the Grand Exchange. At some point I want to do the, what's it called? The Rag and Bone Man quest, because I can get the bone backpack, and that'd look pretty pro status also. I like to use the rubber chicken as well, but I didn't have that out. Anyway, yeah, this tab hasn't changed really. I did get a couple of the prospector items when I was in the Motherlode mine, and the mud skipper hat. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I'll put that in my inventory just so I remember. Quest items, nothing really. And same with this tab. I just have to sell this. This is just crap that I really just have to sell a lot of this stuff. This, you know, going the food thing. This is just kind of the random crap tab. So, anyway, now that we've covered that portion, let's take a look at quests. We're at 130 quest points at this point, which is a little less than a halfway point. And in terms of quests, I'm at 68 out of 128. 128, normally 127 is the number. 128 includes the wish list from the Rag and Bone Man quest, because that does give you a quest point, so I am counting that as a separate quest. So 128 quests, I've completed 68 when I last counted. Starting off from all of the quests that I've done, the first one was Underground Pass, which is honestly one of my favorite quests. It's a long quest. It is a difficult quest. It is a kind of a dark quest too. Basically, you talk to King Lanthus, I believe, in Eastern Ardoin. He's the king in the big castle there, and he tasks you to meet up with one of his contacts, and basically you go and try to make your way through this underground tunnel that they've just discovered. Oh, sweet short bow and crossbow. Okay, anyway, now that that distraction is over, you go through that underground pass, and it is deadly, and it is dark. It's a long pass. I can't imagine doing that quest without any sort of guide or hints, because all the random items you need and going back and forth in that would just be awful. It would take so freaking long. And I actually recorded the whole thing when me and my friend did it. We had a good time, a lot of laughs. You know, it's a fun quest, but it's also a frustrating quest. My 70 agility proved to be very handy, because I only fell at those bridges kind of at the end just a couple of times. But eventually you find out that there's this huge like cult living under there, who's run by this dark Zamorak kind of follower wizard guy named Iben, and all his monks are hanging out down there, and there's this random house that this witch lives in, and you're actually in the underground pass. It's one, I think it's the biggest like room or, you know, kind of dungeon in all of RuneScape as far as I know. That place was freaking huge, absolutely huge. I can't believe I'm picking up all these things while I'm talking about this, but honestly, it's ridiculous how big that area is. So much running involved, lots of crazy crap that happens. It's a heck of a quest, so I definitely recommend doing it, especially for the story in itself, and the rewards are good too. You need it for some other quests. I'm just picking up all these items while I talk just because I am very distracted. Holy crap, look at those acorns and the willow seed. I'll take the willow seed, I'll plant that. Anyway, so yeah, great quest. You end up fighting Iben at the end and killing him, and sort of carving the path for the king there. And then that quest is later continued. We'll talk about that next in a little bit. The next quest, in order that I did it, was Fight Arena. Basically, you meet this lady, and her family has been captured by General Khazard, who's one of the Mahajarat. You know that because he's like this huge skeleton face guy. And he runs like this fight arena, kind of like a gladiator arena. And you basically help bail out her husband and son there, and you end up fighting this guy's dog, and you can actually kill him too. I killed him just for the heck of it, because why not? So that was pretty cool. The next quest was the Lost Tribe, which I had some really bad luck with at the beginning. I was reading the guides, and I don't know if the guides were out of date or what it was, but the things I had to do weren't in the guides, and so I just said screw this, so I just took it on my own, and eventually I figured it out, but it was bugging the crap out of me because I couldn't find the right person to talk to. They say, hey, you gotta talk to one of these 3 people, and one of them's gonna tell you that they saw big eyes in the basement, because the quest involves meeting up with the lost tribe of goblins that live under Lumbridge Castle, under the, you know, by the cellar. There's a kind of an opening in the wall. And basically you find out that the king's assistant is part of the Ham Society, the Humans Against Monsters, and basically you make peace with the goblins and stuff like that. And you know, I noticed when doing all these quests that there's a lot of racist people in RuneScape. Like, every race hates the other race, very, very much so. I never paid attention, you know, as much when I was doing quests back in the day, because, you know, I was in 6th grade. You don't care about, you know, what they think. You just want to get the reward. That's what you do quests for. And now I've been trying to pay a little bit more attention to actually the stories, because there's some really great ones, and I noticed that that's a really common theme in a lot of the quests, so that's kind of interesting. The next quest, Regicide, that is the following quest to the Underground Pass that we were just talking about. Basically, the king wants you to kill his brother, who is the king of the Tyrus camp, the Tyrus camp in the Elflands. Basically, after you get through the underground pass, they figure out a way, like his wizards or whatever, figure out a way to go through this cauldron or this well or whatever where Ivan was hanging out by, where you killed him by throwing this like weird doll in. And you can go through there now and actually get into the Elfland, which is a very cool place. One of my favorite places in RuneScape, although it's very deadly. There's a lot of traps there you can fall in, and me and my friend had our fair share of traps because you have to, and then you have to go through the underground pass a couple more times. So that's always a lengthy experience, but we did do that. We got Regicide taken care of, and you end up killing the king's so-called evil brother. However, you find out that he wasn't so evil, and it wasn't a good move, and the king is kind of weird, but one of the elves informs you of that, but you're supposed to just play dumb and deal with it. So that was good to get taken care of. Next quest was Temple of Ikov. Basically, you meet with another Mahajarat, whose name is Lucian, and he wants you to retrieve the Staff of Armadale from the Temple of Ikov, which is over kind of between Camelot or Sears Village and Ardoin. And basically you go down there, but then you meet with these Armadale followers, and they're like, hey, that he's not good, he's evil, you know, you shouldn't hang out with that guy, he's bad or whatever. And then you can kind of make the decision either to kill Lucian or to just keep following him and try to take the staff or whatever. I picked the good path because I'm a good person, just kidding, but I did pick the good path, so I ended up killing Lucian at the end there. And I actually got a range level or two from that as well, I think. Pretty sure I got 51 and I got 52 while doing pest control or whatever. So that's Temple of Ikov. Next was Ogre Flesheaters. I had started that quest a long time ago for a clue scroll, but I never finished it until now. Basically, there's this disease breakout in the Ogre lands down south of Castle Wars, way on the southwestern side of the world map. And basically you find out that this wizard cast a spell on them because once again, another racist person in RuneScape, this racist wizard who hates ogres or monsters in general. I think he's part of Ham as well, so maybe it's mostly the Ham people, but there's more coming up here. Basically, he ended up casting a spell, and he doesn't know how to, after you interrogate him and, you know, prove that he was the one that did it, he doesn't even know how to, you know, get rid of the spell or something like that. But eventually you figure it out. You make a potion, and all is well there. You make this potion called like Reselium's Balm or something like that to cure the disease. Anyway, not important. Next quest, Treeno Village. Basically, the orbs of protection are stolen from the Treeno Village. They live in that huge maze on the western side of the map, basically northeast of Castle Wars, I guess you could say. Yeah, their orbs got stolen by, once again, General Khazard. They're having kind of a war between the gnomes and the Khazard people, I guess, I don't know. They're duking it out down there, and basically the 3 of the 4 orbs, I think, are stolen, or maybe there's just 3 of them. Basically, you go and retrieve them for the gnomes, then everything's all good. There's a warlord you fight at the end, so that was kind of cool. One of the 2 quest requirements for Monkey Madness, probably my favorite quest in the entire game of RuneScape, Monkey Madness. So yeah, getting the requirements for that. I got both of them, so we'll be talking about that pretty quick here. Next was Anakra's Lament, which is a really interesting quest. Basically, you meet with this sculptor, and he has you sculpt this sculpture, or you know, you kind of help him make one in the desert, except when you finish making it, the ground collapses and you find yourself in Anakra's temple, and you see all these flashbacks between her and another one of the Mahajarat. She's a Mahajarat, and then this other one named Akthanikos or whatever. He's like this camel one. That's where this camel mask is from that I was talking about earlier. He actually looks like a camel. He has this head, which is really cool. So you see all these flashbacks with him and her kind of duking it out. Eventually she kind of imprisons him down there, and she's hanging out down there. And so you go through, you solve the puzzles, you see all these flashbacks, you solve the puzzles, free this warrior, and eventually you free him by sealing her in this wall, kind of like what's that Edgar Allan Poe story? the Cask of Amontillado. It reminded me of that kind of, where you seal up a wall between the two of them, only she eventually just breaks out of it because she's really powerful. She's a Mahajrat, but he reveals his true form. She reveals her true form, which is that like skeleton figure or whatever, and then they just disappear and head to the north for their final confrontation, their big battle in the north, which is obviously, you know, Ritual of the Mahajrat quest in RS3. Really great quest, by the way. That one was one of my favorites. That was one of the new ones that I actually really enjoyed. So that's a thing. We're gonna collect that anyway during my storytelling. But yeah, so that would actually be kind of cool if they brought that quest in here, maybe with its own twist, obviously with these graphics. Whoa, are those? Oh, never mind. I saw these guys. I thought they had camel masks on too. If they did, they would be members of the camel squad. But anyway, so yeah, really cool quest. Really kind of leaves you on a cliffhanger. I kind of hope they do some big Mahajrat quest. Maybe they'll just put in Ritual of the Mahajrat with the old graphics and fights and all that or whatever. But we'll see what happens. Roving elves, that was the next quest. Basically, you meet these two elves that teleport all over the frickin' map of the elf land. I mean, I guess it's really only 2 or 3 locations, but I had a really big problem just finding them in the first place, so that was annoying. But once you find them, you have to go into Glariel's tomb from the waterfall quest and fight a level 84 moss giant. He's like a guardian of the seed, and then you go and plant this seed, so that kind of, it's like a little peace treaty, I guess, between the humans and the elves. Once again, you know, 2 different races hating each other. So yeah, there's one of the elves is this young, you know, Pocahontas-looking one, you know, really friendly, you know, helpful or whatever. The other one's this grumpy old guy who hates humans. What do you know? Basically, you do that, and then they're like, oh, okay, this guy's good. And eventually, once you complete the quest, after you plant that seed that you get back, you do get the crystal bow or the crystal shield, whichever you prefer. I picked the crystal bow because I think the crystal bow is sweet. But I don't have 70 range, so I can't equip it. But eventually, that was a fun quest. Next one was Hand in the Sand. Basically, this wizard in Yanil gets murdered, and this guy named Bert, who works with sand, finds a hand in his sand. And yeah, you basically go and convict his boss of murdering him and of murdering that wizard, and he was like cutting Bert's paychecks or whatever, all that crap. So interesting quest, not one of my favorites, but we got it done with. It was a relatively quick one. Next, the Golem. Interesting quest. You're out in the desert again. You find the ruins of a little city or lost civilization called Uzer, U-Z-E-R. And you find this golem who's wandering around there who's saying, you know, oh man, I need to kill this demon that's living down there, you know, in this temple. And you're like, what you talking about, Willis? And then basically you talk to the golem and you finally get him to trust you and to tell you how to open this portal to this dimension where this demon is apparently waiting. And eventually you do, but you go to the dimension and the demon's just dead there because it's been a long period of time, thousands of years potentially, I don't know how long. Oh look, another scammer doubling money. That's pretty cool. These guys are full of crap, by the way. Don't fall for them. If you do, well, I'm sorry, but they're not going to double your money. The only times they do that is maybe they'll double 1 or 2 people's just to kind of seem legit, and then once they get a big trade they'll log out. Or if most cases people are like, holy crap, he's doing it, it's usually their friends, so ignore them. Report them and ignore them. Anyway, back to quest, the golem. So yeah, eventually you get him to teach you how to open the portal, or you know, to set it open. You go in there and you find out the demon's dead already. So then you just have to go out there and convince him that's dead. He's like, no, I gotta kill it. What you talking about, Willis? And eventually you learn to reprogram him and let him know that his task is complete. So pretty simple quest. That's kind of the lead up to the next one called, I believe it's called Shadow of the Storm, if I remember correctly. Yep, Shadow of the Storm. So that's the next golem quest that I'll be doing. Moving on from there, we have the Fremen X Trials. My friend and I did this quest. This is a good one. There's some pretty good rewards. It is a long freaking quest. Holy cow. Oh my gosh, we were getting so annoyed how long this quest is, because you have to get the approval of these 7 different, you know, Vikings or Fremen X in order to be considered one. That's the idea. So they have all these different trials they have you do, in order to prove that you're really a Fremen or, you know, a Viking or whatever you want to call it. They're basically the same thing. You do like this huge drinking contest, and you do this puzzle, and then you fight this guy multiple times, and it's a fun quest. I love the Relica area. I love the music up there. The song, there's this one song, I believe it's called Legend. If you ever actually listen to the RuneScape music, Legend is really good. That's kind of the Fremen theme. But yeah, so that was a fun quest, except it got really dull at the end, or we got kind of annoyed at the end. We were just like, oh my gosh, when's this gonna end? I didn't remember that quest being that long, but, you know, like I said, I was a quest freak back in the day. That's all I did, and so it's fun to be able to do them again and kind of understand the plots a little bit more that I'm not in 6th grade, so that's cool. 2 more quests. The Grand Tree, one of my favorites. The quest that kind of leads up to Monkey Madness. Basically, you go and you talk to the king of the gnomes. I believe his name is King Rold. I think he's the one. I don't remember. I think that's the king of the gnomes. But anyway, you talk to him and he's like, oh, piss, the Grand Tree's dying, which is this huge tree kind of northwest of Ardoin, and that's where the gnomes live, other than the gnomes who live in the village, but that's where the tree gnome stronghold is. And basically the Grand Tree is supposedly dying, but then you find out that one of the workers, Glow, one of the guys there, he's actually cutting the limbs out to build boats for his armies, because he, once again, is a racist gnome, and he hates humans. So you actually get thrown in prison because you blame Glow for doing this and doing that, and they don't believe you, and it's just kind of a huge thing, you trying to point the finger at this guy, but then they don't believe you, and eventually you prove it. You see this demon that Glow summons to get rid of you, and eventually you fight it. And I did record this quest like the Underground Pass. I was thinking of doing a series where I kind of try to explain the story more with some cool background music, and just kind of tell what's going on and go over the quests. Obviously, I don't want the videos to be super long, but I did record both of those quests, and hopefully I can experiment with those and get one of those up in the near future. But yeah, so when I was doing that quest, I was recording the fight, and I just epic failed at the demon, and he like 3-hit me, and I was freaking out because I had my full what the heck is the name of this outfit? The graceful outfit. I had the whole thing into my inventory, and I dropped most of it. I thought, or no, I didn't drop it, but I was afraid I was gonna lose it. I was like, oh, pissed, because there's kind of a cutscene before you get to the demon that Glow summons to get rid of you, and I died. I was like, oh crap, no, I do not want to, I had to collect 200 more marks of grace for that. So I've been a little bit more careful when I use that for quests. I try to just avoid it in general. So that scared me, but I was able to get everything back, all my stuff that I had dropped, so it wasn't a big deal. But anyway, so yeah, eventually you figure out that, or you convince the king that Glow has been trying to cut the roots out of the tree and use them to build boats for his army that's gonna go attack the world or whatever and kill all the humans, because he's a very nice gnome like that. Finally, we did Shiloh Village, which honestly I don't really understand what the plot was. I'm gonna leave it at that. Basically, you go and you move some corpses around, and eventually you go to all these different tombs, and it's like Tomb Raider, and you're actually raiding tombs, and you freaking eventually put this soul to rest, and they say thanks, and then now you can go into the village. There's a bunch of zombies everywhere too, but I don't really get the connection, so that's the one quest where I really didn't get the story that well. I've never really understood the jungle quests as well. Finally, I did do one mini quest, the Mogre mini quest. Basically, you talk to this drunk guy named Skippy off Mud Skipper Point. He tells you saw this weird ogre thing come out of the water, and you help sober him up. Basically, you kill these Mogres though, and they have 2 drops that are sought after. One was the flippers that I'm wearing, which are freaking sweet looking, but it took me like 80 kills to get one, and my friend, it took him 3 kills to get him, so that pissed me off when he told me that. I was like, are you kidding me, dude? And this is the other thing that they drop. It's like this hat. It's like a fish hat kind of thing. I don't know. It looks really derpy. I like my camo mask more, but the flippers are brilliant, so that's why those things are killed. But anyway, guys, that's about it. So yeah, overall quest points, 130 out of 246. quest 68 out of 128, so basically around the halfway point. So that's really cool. Obviously not quite the halfway point for, or actually a little over the halfway point for quest points and a little under the halfway point for quests. But, you know, it'll even out or whatever. You know, some quests are 1 quest point, some are like 5. Recipe for Disaster is 10. You know, so it kind of goes back and forth. But anyway, guys, next time, hopefully, I'll have some more farming levels and magic levels, and I guess that the next order of business right away is going to be Merlin's Crystal, so I can do the Hero's Quest, and hopefully I'll be trying to get 53 Thieving. That'd be really cool, too. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and until next time, guys, take care, and we'll see you later.